What is up, everyone, and welcome. So, what is going on with Donald Trump's hands? For months now, photos have been showing these mysterious marks and bruises, and it's sparked a ton of questions. We are going to break down the timeline, the evidence, and the official story to see what's really happening.
Okay, let's just get right into it, shall we? You've probably seen the pictures. For months, we've been seeing these seriously strange marks and bruises on Trump's right hand. But what's the real story here?
So, we're going to put on our detective hats. We're breaking down the timeline, looking at the evidence, and we're going to compare the official story with what photographers have actually been catching on camera. Let the investigation begin. All right, our investigation kicks off on August 22nd. We're in the Oval Office, and photographers noticed something, well, kind of weird on the president's hand. And it wasn't just a bruise. It looked like someone tried to cover it up with makeup. Yep, reporters who were right there on the scene described the key detail, a glob of tan concealer that was a totally different color from his actual skin tone. Not exactly a subtle cover-up job, you know? So with this mismatched concealer basically drawing a giant arrow to his hand, the focus then shifted to just hiding the hand completely. And this led to a whole series of maneuvers, right there in front of the press. It was like watching a magic trick. First, he clasped his hands, tucking the right one under the left. Then, boom, both hands went right under the desk. But, of course, anytime he had to gesture or sign something, the cameras were right there, ready to snap a picture. After days of trying to keep that hand under wraps, the whole effort just fell apart. The moment came during this really high-profile meeting where there was quite literally nowhere left to hide. And here it is, the big reveal. This happened while he was welcoming the South Korean president. The bruise was just front and center for the whole world to see, a massive dark purple and blue mark that stretched pretty much across the entire top of his hand. Whoa. Okay, so we've seen the photographic evidence. Now let's switch gears and look at the official explanation. What is the White House actually telling people about these recurring and very, very visible bruises? So the main reason they've given is a combo of two things. Number one, frequent and, vigorous handshaking. And number two, the use of aspirin, which is a blood thinner. And yeah, it can make you bruise more easily. And to really drive this point home, the press secretary added that Trump is a man of the people who shakes more hands than any other president in history. So case closed, right? Not so fast, because the questions about his health don't actually stop at his hands. Another story had gone totally viral just a month before this, and it shifted everyone's attention from his hands all the way down to his feet. Yep, you heard that right. Back in July, photos from a FIFA event showed the president with super swollen ankles. The internet immediately nicknamed them cankles, and it kicked off a whole new round of health speculation. The plot thickens. So, in response to those viral photos, the White House actually released an official diagnosis: Chronic Venous Insufficiency, or CVI. It's actually a pretty common condition for people his age, and it causes swelling because the veins have a tough time pumping blood from the legs back up to the heart. Okay, so when you lay it all out like this, you start to see a pattern. The hand bruises, first spotted way back in February. Then in April, his doctor releases a memo saying he's in excellent health. Then you have the viral ankle photos and the CVI diagnosis in July, and that's followed by the big August hand bruise and makeup saga we just talked about. This all brings us to the main question, right? How do we make sense of the official statements when you compare them to the visual evidence and the actions we're seeing? It feels like there's a huge contradiction here. Let's break it down side by side. On one hand, the official line is excellent health, but on the other, we see these recurring bruises and a diagnosed medical condition. They go public with the CVI diagnosis, but they're apparently evasive about letting the media talk to his doctor. And look, if the bruises are just from shaking hands, why try so hard to cover them with makeup and hide them from the cameras? So what do you make of all of this? Is this just a bunch of minor, separate issues getting blown way out of proportion? Or are these visual clues pointing to something more serious? I really want to know what you think. Drop your take in the comments below. And that is the wild story of the presidential bruise mystery. Thanks so much for hanging out for this explainer. If you learned something new, do me a favor and hit that like button. And definitely subscribe so you do not miss our next deep dive. See you then.